Oh my God, are you serious? A month after having my daughter, I came back home from my parents' house. Then my husband, Jake, came home from work. When he saw me, he dropped his bag at the door and said, "You don't look very different from before." Excuse me? I'm Sarah, 31 years old. I've been a stay-at-home mom since I had my baby a month ago. I had stayed with my parents after the birth, and I was so excited to finally start our life as a family of 3 back at home. But when I came back, my husband, Jake, greeted me with cold comments. I was completely shocked. I couldn't believe he would say something like that before even meeting his daughter. We had met at work. I was in accounting right after high school, and Jake was my boss. We bought a house near my office, but since I'm from another part of the country, I stayed with my parents before giving birth. A month after our daughter, Emma, was born, I came back home with her. Jake hadn't been able to come to the birth because of work, so this was his first time seeing her. And yet, so nice of you to say that. I just traveled all this way with the baby, and this is the welcome I get, I said sarcastically. At first, I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. You know, it looks like you gained 20 pounds, he said. It's normal to gain weight when you're pregnant. It's in the maternity guide. You need that weight to stay healthy and produce milk. I need the energy to deal with the baby crying all night too. There's nothing wrong with that. But honestly, it was so hurtful. On my way home, I had hoped to hear something like, "I've missed you," or "Let me hold our baby." But instead, he didn't even hold Emma and made that comment before walking off to the bedroom. I was completely shocked and hurt. His attitude was just awful. I dropped the diaper bag just like he dropped his. I thought he would be better the next day after a good night's sleep, so I went to bed with Emma in the guest room. But the next day, I realized his behavior was just the beginning. He started mocking me for gaining weight. I had learned that eating sweet potatoes could help with milk production, so when I had some as a snack, he said, "What's a potato doing eating a sweet potato? It's like cannibalism." He then added, "It's gross watching fat people eat. I heard pigs eat grains. Maybe you should eat more grains." Oink. He was finding joy in making fun of me. He also said, "I've been waiting for things to go back to normal between us." As a guy, I thought we'd get right back into it, but I don't think that's happening now. It's going to feel like work. It's unpaid work, and I'm not getting anything out of it. He really turned everything into something negative, even our intimate life. "We need to cut costs," he said. "We won't be having sex until things improve. The reason is simple. You don't look like a woman anymore." He kept mocking me. Every time Jake opened his mouth, it was just another cruel comment about my body. He didn't say anything nice anymore. He didn't help with any housework or childcare either. But honestly, I was okay. I was just happy spending time with Emma. I didn't have to listen to him. I started thinking of him as nothing more than a noisy parrot in the house, and I tried not to let him bother me. Then one day, something happened that made me completely lose it. Jake came home drunk from a work event. He sat down on a chair, leaning over the table. He was facing me while I was breastfeeding Emma next to him. He burped, smelling of alcohol, and started mumbling nonsense. "I don't think babies are as cute as people say. Emma's kind of bald, her skin's all red, and all she does is make weird noises," he said. "What are you talking about?" I asked, shocked. "I'm just being honest. People pretend babies are cute, but they don't really think that," he mumbled. He kept going. "As an accountant, I've got an analytical view of things." "You're not making any sense," I said. "I see you feeding this not-so-cute baby, and I know you gained weight to have her. And now your boobs are probably sagging from breastfeeding. It's gross." "What the hell is wrong with you?" I shouted. "I can't see you as anything but that. I can't sleep with someone who looks like that. It's like being with a different species." Then, without warning, he grabbed my hand and dragged me, with Emma in my arms, into the guest room. "What do you think you're doing?" I tried to fight back, but before I could even scream, he shoved us into the room and slammed the door shut. "Stay in your little nest, roly-poly," he said. And then he started singing a song called Roly-Poly as he went to take a shower. It was unforgivable. He was mocking me and our daughter too. Even if he was drunk, it was completely out of line. I was furious, but I stayed quiet, nursing Emma in the dark room, and went to bed. The next morning, when I opened the door, my anger flared up again. It wasn't just because Jake had left his clothes all over the floor or the used glass on the table. I saw a paper taped to the door of the bedroom I had been shoved into. It said, "Roly-Poly's room." The handwriting was messy, and I knew it was Jake's. I couldn't believe it. That was it. I wasn't going to forgive him for this. Right then and there, I started planning my revenge. The first step was to reinvent myself. I put the Roly-Poly's room sign in my new bedroom. I wanted to look at it every time I felt like giving up. On the opposite wall, I put up a poster of Jennifer Lopez. I had always been a fan of hers. She had amazing style, and she made me want to be like her. It would keep me motivated. And that was the start of my long-term revenge plan in the Roly-Poly's room. There were plenty of workouts I could do at home. I started standing on my toes while moving around the house. Whenever I wanted to sit down, I did squats instead. I did squats while doing laundry, brushing my teeth, and crunches after each feeding. My midwife had told me that postpartum body fat is easier to burn, and she was right. My weight dropped quickly. As Emma got older, I even put her on my stomach during sit-ups, and she laughed every time my face came near hers. I worked on strength training and diet while taking care of her. Before I knew it, I was back to my pre-baby shape. I sweated a lot during workouts, so I kept wearing the tracksuits I wore right after childbirth, just with an elastic waistband instead. I didn't care to dress up for Jake, and of course, I didn't wear makeup either. Jake had nicknamed me Roly-Poly, but he didn't even notice my changes because I kept wearing the same clothes. He wasn't paying attention to me anyway. The second step was to bring Jake down. If I wanted to rise, I had to make him look worse. I started to fatten him up. Since his office didn't have a cafeteria, I made him high-carb lunches with meat and fried food. For dinner, I'd tempt him with his favorite foods, like pizza and fried chicken, since he usually came home around 9 p.m. I had dinner with Emma at 6 p.m., and my meals were made up of mostly vegetables and a little meat. I minimized my carbs by substituting cauliflower and tofu. It helped me feel less stressed about not having rice or bread. If I ever felt hungry, I'd wait 10 minutes and the hunger would pass. If it didn't, I'd look at myself in the mirror and then at my J.Lo poster, and the hunger would turn into guilt, helping me control my appetite. I knew that wasn't enough, so I started posting on social media. Every day, I took a picture of my bare belly before I showered. I posted the picture and the exercises I was doing under the handle Sarah at Home Diet. 4 years passed and Emma started preschool. Jake began paying more attention to her once she could talk. But I wasn't ready to forgive him for everything he'd said when I gave birth. I had been holding on to my anger for those 4 years, especially since he had called me Roly-Poly. Once Emma started preschool, I began working part-time at a local fitness club. I was a receptionist and cleaner, but being around health-conscious clients kept me motivated. It felt even better when clients told me, "You look amazing. You're so toned." I was sure I had reached my goal. It was time. I decided I was going to get back at Jake for everything over the past 4 years. I arranged a meeting for Tuesday at 1 p.m. The place was a cafe his parents owned in the city center. It was always crowded thanks to being featured by influencers. They hadn't seen Emma since she was a baby, so I decided to bring her. I was told that Tuesday afternoons were usually slower, and it was easier for them to take a break. They planned to leave the cafe to the staff and spend some time with Emma for the first time in a while. Jake had to work in the morning but took the afternoon off to meet us there. After sending him the message, I took my time getting ready. I carefully applied my makeup and straightened my hair. Normally, I just tied it in a messy knot at home. But today, I made it shiny and sleek. I drew on my eyebrows since they were usually barely there, and instead of my usual tracksuit, I put on a fitted dress. It was a size 6. I wasn't going to let Jake call me Roly-Poly anymore. I purposely arrived at the cafe 10 minutes late. I had already received a text from Jake saying he was there. "You're late. Roly-Poly moves slowly," it said. There was another text when I got to the cafe entrance. Snap. I took a screenshot and put my phone in my bag. I took a deep breath and straightened my shoulders. The door made a sound as Emma and I walked in. My mother-in-law, Lori, saw us first. "You're here," she said, smiling wide. "Oh, it's so nice to see you, Sarah. I missed you. And you too, Emma." "It's been a long time, Lori," I said, kissing her on the cheek. "Let's talk in the back. Jake's already here. Oh, look at you, sweet little bee. She was more focused on playing with her granddaughter than helping the customers. She turned to the staff and asked them to take over. When I walked to the back and saw Jake, he turned around when he heard my footsteps. "How long do you make me wait, Rolly?" he said. But when he saw me, he froze. His eyes went wide, his nostrils flared, and his jaw dropped. I honestly thought his face might break from how wide he opened everything. He just stared at me. "Hi, Jake," I greeted him, keeping my tone distant. "Emma looks so sweet and beautiful, just like you, Sarah," Lori said, joining us with 5 slices of tiramisu, the cafe's bestseller. There was an awkward silence, so I spoke up. "You seem lost for words." "Oh well." Just then, my father-in-law, Mark, walked in. "I've been waiting for you guys. I've missed you, sweet little Emma." His parents gathered around Emma, smiling and playing with her. Jake, on the other hand, forced a tight smile. Well, of course, she got our genes. The tension was building. Without hesitation, I replied, "Well, it's you and Roly-Poly's baby, right?" Jake froze, and his parents stopped playing with Emma. "What did you just say?" Lori asked, confused. "Roly-Poly. That's what he's been calling me," I answered. "He said he couldn't see me as a woman after having the baby." "Wait a minute. I didn't know you lost weight," Lori said. "You didn't notice, did you?" I shot back. "You shut me in a spare room so you didn't have to look at me, right? You didn't see the changes over the last 4 years. You called me Roly-Poly and never even looked at me. You said I was disgusting." I pulled out the piece of paper that said Roly-Poly's room and placed it on the table. My in-laws were stunned. "Mark, Lori," I continued, "I'm sure you can see what I've been dealing with just from this paper. I've been verbally abused for a long time. This isn't the only proof," I added, pulling out my phone. I showed them screenshots of the horrible messages Jake had sent me. I also showed the one he sent when I arrived at the cafe. His parents were shocked by how many there were. "Jake, how could you?" Mark asked, his voice full of disbelief. "Oh, give me a break. Evidence what?" Jake shouted, clearly angry. Then we heard giggles from behind. "Seriously?" 2 teenage girls at a nearby table were laughing at us. How can a creepy old man yell at such a beautiful woman? So wrong. Crazy, creepy, fat, and hot-headed. You. It's like a quadruple handicap. Their laughter echoed at our table. "You call me Roly-Poly, but have you looked at yourself? You're overweight and greasy," I said, pausing for effect. "You look like a beetle." With that, I turned to my in-laws and showed them a picture. "Please take a look. This is Emma right after she was born, and me," I said, showing a photo. "Oh, Emma, you were so tiny. How cute," Lori exclaimed, wiping away tears. "I'm so happy to have you as my grandchild." She looked at the photo and got emotional. When I came back from the hospital, Jake said I was disgusting and unattractive. He even said my breasts and stomach had dropped and gave me the nickname Roly-Poly. He also said Emma wasn't cute. My in-laws were silent, stunned by the photo and my words. I then pulled out a folder of divorce papers from my bag. "I've just shown you the proof of the abuse. I want to end our marriage now," I said firmly. "Wait a minute. You're supposed to be the Roly-Poly that clings to me. How are you planning to support yourself?" Jake asked, shocked. His question caught me off guard, but I was quick to respond. I switched the screen on my phone and showed him my Twitter account, Sarah at Home Diet. "I have over 10,000 followers," I said. I showed the comments below my posts. "Wow, you can tone up so much at home. You're giving all housewives hope. You look amazing. I admire you." Lori suddenly shouted, "Jake, you have no idea what it's like to give birth. It's one of the hardest things a woman's body goes through. We gain weight to prepare for delivery, and we hardly sleep to protect our babies. You don't even try to understand that, and you mock her? Shame on you." She turned to me, tears in her eyes. "Dear, I'm so sorry for what my son has done. I'll do whatever I can to make it right. Let me keep seeing this sweet little one from time to time. We won't bother you, but maybe we can celebrate her birthdays here, without Jake." And so I started a new chapter working as a single mom at a fitness club. My friends tell me, "Wow, you look amazing, Mommy." Sometimes Emma even says it too. I always tell her to be beautiful inside and out, You have to work hard. You need to believe in yourself and be patient to achieve your goals. I hope you'll grow up to be hardworking. As for Jake, or the beetle, as I now call him, Lori tells me he's trying to get back with me by going on a diet, but he can't stick with it and is still overweight. I'm now working full-time at the fitness club, and my Twitter followers have grown to over 20,000. I've even been contacted by a publisher. Housewives can do anything. We just have to take control of our happiness. I want to keep motivating other housewives who are doing their best.